Hello everybody, my pearls are a little funny. Hi everybody, welcome. And now I'm gonna go like that. Let's see, maybe. All right, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Happy Thursday. I have this random feeling that my phone is gonna go toppling over. It looks somewhat precarious on its little stand for some reason. I don't know. Welcome to our masterclass. The most beautiful and largest, hi Kara, butterfly just flew up to my window. No joke. It's like I've seen some in the yard. I have a butterfly bush right below my windows. Now I see it fluttering away. Oh, friends. My heart just burst. There you go. All right. So who is ready? Let me make sure I got all the things. Say hello in the comments. It keeps going by. Okay, there we go. All right, bring up, there we go. Say hello in the comments. Give me what you got. Check in, tell us how you are. Who is ready to jump? So if you have not grabbed your workbook, do you have to have the workbook? You do not. You can have a piece of paper, but you are gonna work today. I mean, you work every day with me, but I am going to invite you. Hi, Sally, welcome. I am gonna invite you. Hi, Karen, welcome. Hello, hello. I am going to invite you to, we're going to do some reflecting, some personal reflecting at times. So if you haven't downloaded the workbook, I actually also uploaded it into the files. So I'm going to stick it into the comments here, just in case you can. Hi, Jennifer, welcome. All right, it's there, it's in the files. You can also get it from the email. All the friends, yay. All right. I'm so excited. Let's see. Oh, I was like, oh, that's my comment. What did I say? It's the workbook. There's a bit of a delay between the small screen and hi, Harrietta, welcome. Harrietta, did you book your trip? Share. So I'm about to get to check-ins from yesterday, but can I just share with you all? I'm going to talk about this, but look at how beautiful these are. Aren't these beautiful? This is me getting unapologetic, and I will tell you why later. Aren't they pretty? They're so pretty. Okay, look how small. Okay, this is a yogurt cup. Don't even ask. That's a whole, my dad models being unapologetic all the time. Okay, I have the box of things to pick somebody to win the Thrive Journal later. I have everything ready. Okay, let's, oh, you're frozen. All right, is everybody else okay? Can you hear me? If not, do what you need to do. Okay, give me a heart or a something if you're, okay. All right, good, good, good. Okay, yep, we're good. Okay, so Sally, is that yep as in you're good? You can hear me, everything is good? Okay. I was like, wait, okay. I was like, wait, what are we yupping? I'm gonna come back, it's back now. Oh, all right, so it was frozen. So I was frozen. Harrietta, I was frozen, it looks like, or something. Who knows? Okay, we're back. We are back. Okay, so welcome to this day 4 masterclass. I was saying before, if you don't have the workbook, you're gonna want a piece of paper at least, but I linked it in the comments. You can go back, it's also in the file section, it's also in your email, it's all the places. To start, to get us going for today, I would love to have you check in with yesterday. I invited you to consider, what do you have to gain by getting unapologetic? You thought of something where you've been in a little bit of limbo, maybe waiting, and then I invited you to consider, what do you have to gain? And, right, what if this is where it all began? And then that brought up one step that perhaps you could take. I want to hear how your steps went. What happened yesterday when you gave yourself permission to take one unapologetic step? What happened? I want to hear. Put it in the comments. How'd it go? How did you feel? What did you notice? Maybe something different emerged for you. Maybe you ended up taking another step that you hadn't considered. But what ended up happening for you yesterday when you gave yourself permission to take an unapologetic step in the direction of that thing where you've been limboed? I want to hear. How'd it go? Let's see. What ended up happening? You know, I got courageous and creative and posted to my Facebook business page, unattached to the outcome. Yay, Sally. Yes. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I heard from somebody else in the group that she scheduled an audition for something, I think tomorrow. Yay. Christina, yay. Totally gonna, she posted in the group, it's okay. Right? All right, so Jennifer said it made me take another step and realize where you need to focus. Oh, okay, yes. So here's the beauty. Sometimes we take a step, right? And we're like, oh, right? And things come in to focus more clearly. I laugh because when I got these glasses that are pretty fancy, right? They are progressives, so I can see like far away and I can see close up, depending on how I go like this. But when I went to the eye doctor this past April, and she's like, so this is what it's gonna be like, and they do the little thing of like this way or that way, right? And she's like, how is this compared to before? I'm like, oh, I was that fuzzy before? So the interesting thing is that our limbo creates like this filter of fuzz, of noise, of clutter that we see everything through. So once you start taking one little step after another little step, things start to come in with more clarity, with more focus. Yeah? All right, juicy, delicious. I love it. Okay, let me ask, did any questions come up for you? Perhaps resistance came up. Did anybody have any resistance of like you wanted to take the step, but all these reasons why yesterday wasn't a good day to do it? Did anybody have that? Let's be honest, because it happens. It happens to me. It happens to me often. What little voices did you hear? And it's not about ignoring those little voices, right? All of that information, those voices, they're just feedback. They're like, hey, ooh, Harrietta, you had resistance. Tell us about the resistance. Tell us about the resistance, if you'd like to, right? Resistance is real, so we don't pretend it doesn't exist, but we see it. We see it for what it is. Kara said, I signed up to learn more about the money mindset and realized where I had the sticking point, resistance, and another step. This came up for you as instead as a way to move forward. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, right? So resistance is information. It doesn't have to stop us unless we let it. Oh, I'm hearing the lawnmowers. The lawnmowers are gonna be here soon. All right, it's fine. This happens all the time. Anyway, okay, so resistance is information, right? So let's go back and review. So some of the things that I heard people talking about yesterday is they were gonna sign up for an audition. They were gonna make travel plans. They got clear on their core values, wink, wink, a few of you this week, and you made some decisions based on those. So some massive shifts were happening this week for you all as we practiced getting rooted. So to review, right, day one, we talked about getting rooted and the importance of getting rooted in both the present moment, yeah, instead of past or future, and in yourself, in belonging just as you are. And that might mean being rooted in your core values. I offered you a practice. Do you remember? I belong, I am home. To just kind of breathe into that. And so day one was all about getting rooted, because your jumps, your unapologetic jumps, which we're going to get to, I have not forgotten about 2 jumps a day. We're going to do it in a second. Our jumps need a strong foundation, right? They need a foundation. And we get to decide what's in that foundation, as opposed to the guilt deciding or the resistance deciding, okay? So day one was all about getting rooted. Then we practiced this idea of really moving into getting curious. Karen says you didn't watch the day 3 video until this morning. That's okay. You are not behind. You are not behind. You're reaching out later today. Ooh, all right. You made travel plans last night. Just a weekend road trip with the girls. Lots of fun to look forward to. Oh, Karen, just in time. Just in time. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, and then yesterday we explored, right? What do you have to gain? So today we are going to tap into your aliveness. And we're going to talk about what that means, how it relates to thriving, which is a word I toss around a lot. You're going to do some reflecting on that. And then you're going to get a little dreamy about being unapologetic. And by the end of today, my goal for you, my hope for you rather, is that you come up with one thing that you are going to practice. Because let me be very clear, these challenges are fun and fabulous and inspiring, but they're like so many things that I do, retreats, group programs, even one-on-one coaching, any of those things. It's one thing if you're paying attention on when somebody else is watching. It's a whole other thing when you continue, when you integrate, when you decide how you're going to bring things forward. That's where the transformation exists. And I'm going to talk to you about how to set yourself up for success with that in supported ways and non-supported ways, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we're going to jump. We're going to jump to start. Okay, how's that feel? Ready? So I'm going to invite you to stand. Stand. Friends, fully unapologetic. I'm in like workout clothes because I haven't worked out yet, and I decided I could change, but I did want to put on my pearls this morning because that felt delicious to me. That's also me being unapologetic. But I did not get fancy for you because that's not what we need to do for one another, right? No masks. No masks. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump on the count of 3. Before we jump, I'm going to invite you to consider, just for a moment, feel your feet on the ground wherever you are. Maybe bring one hand to your belly where your inner fire lives, and one hand to your heart. And if standing, if jumping doesn't feel accessible to you, remember that you can jump from your seat, lifting your legs and lifting your arms. And if you're seated, same thing, right? Just feel your feet and feel your hips in your seat. Always modifications. So breathe in here. Consider this idea, I am rooted. I am curious. I am alive. Breathe that in. And then on the count of 3, we're going to jump together. I'm going to walk away from the wall. Maybe you jump a different way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I did like an old cheerleader jump. Oh, I think I did something to my hip. All right. Other than the hips, perhaps, how did that feel? check in. Tell us. We added some things on that jump. We added this kind of getting rooted in I am rooted, I am curious, I am alive. How did that jump feel? Put it in the comments. How did it feel? What came up? Let's see. Okay. So go ahead, write in how it felt. And then we're going to kind of consider this idea of, ooh, energetic. Okay. Yeah. And you might be noticing, so it becomes really interesting to notice in the sequence of your different jumps. Are you jumping the same way each time? Are you jumping differently, right? Just without judgment to begin hopeful. Hi, Kim. Hopeful. Okay. Kim, who cleaned off all the cicadas on her trampoline to jump. I love it. Love it. Oh my goodness. So just even be paying attention to, are you jumping in the same way? What would it be like to change up your jumps, to give yourself permission to jump in a new way? Even that, right, metaphorically is a reminder that even the stuff that we do that's really good for us, sometimes it becomes rote, it becomes mechanic or mechanical. And so just that reminder that we have an opportunity to always not tweak to do something better, but just to check in with what do we need. And that is going to lead us into this idea of being alive. Jennifer says, it improved your mindset. Today is a challenging day. Real life, right? There are some days that are challenging. So thank you for being here and for letting that jump touch you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Okay. So let's talk about, oh, no worries, Kim. Catch all the things later. We'll be here, or the video will be here. I may not be here, but you know what I mean. Bye. So what does it mean to you to be alive? Right? I ask that question and would love for you to consider, what does it mean to you to be alive? Go ahead and put your response to that in the comments. What does that mean? What comes up when you think about that idea, being alive? Right? I mean, there's the very obvious things, but there are perhaps not so obvious things as well. What does it mean to you to be alive? And I want to share a story with you of a client who came to me last spring. Her first foray into my world was a virtual retreat. And then she became a Thrive Circler. And then she is becoming a new Thrive Unleasher. Harrietta said, feeling the breeze, being in the moment. It's like you've been in my world a little bit, Harrietta. I love that. And so this particular woman was feeling really depleted, really tired. She had lost her sense of self. Didn't really feel like she prioritized, right? And for good reason. She had family to take care of, kids, older kids with some needs that involved her time and required her energy. And what she said after this virtual retreat that she got to experience was she felt awake for the first time. It was like a match had been lit in her belly, and she suddenly knew that there was more that she wanted. And so we talked about starting really small to nurture and cultivate her aliveness. And the way that she did that was by starting her day with her choosing, instead of being reactive the minute her alarm went off, right? And getting out of bed. Has anybody ever done that? Like you get out of bed and you're just reacting right away. And so she started moving slowly in the morning, and she'd stay in bed and breathe, not for a long time, for like 30 seconds, and did kind of a body scan to just check in and decided how she at least wanted to start her day energetically. So that was the first thing that she incorporated, that she integrated. The next thing that she incorporated was a bedtime routine, where instead of doing all the things for all the people in her life, she started kind of shutting everything down earlier in the evening and deciding she was going to go upstairs, she was going to practice some yoga, she was going to read, she was going to do things that cultivated creativity, so that she was anchoring her day with herself. And through that process, she created new boundaries with her family members, with her time, with her energy. She started tending to her energy, right? And she started feeling more and more alive, to the point where she has now started to dream again about wanting to study some new things, to learn some new things that she hasn't given herself permission to think about in a really long time. So this is that journey to aliveness. It doesn't mean you have to change your life. It doesn't mean you have to burn everything down, right? It doesn't even mean you need to add a whole bunch of stuff into your to-do list. But there is this opportunity to tap in. So let's see what you're saying about aliveness. Feeling incredibly grateful and very emotional today. Oh, Karen, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Jennifer says, happy, loved, needed, accepted. Yeah, okay. So to me, aliveness is when we give ourselves permission to absorb, to take in the moments around us, to let our heart be touched, to notice unexpected moments, right? To really tend, not at a surface level. So for instance, right, you hear a lot about self-care, and I'm that person that says it actually isn't self-care that you need. And here's why. Sometimes self-care becomes one more thing we put on our to-do list, right? You go, you get a massage, it feels delicious, it feels fabulous. You get back in the car, your phone starts going off, you're already back at all the emails, and all the good stuff from the massage is poof, gone. As opposed to really absorbing the feeling of that massage in your body, letting it linger, not being quite so fast to rush to the next thing. So aliveness, one of the ways that I talk about aliveness is this idea of really savoring and absorbing moments. It doesn't mean you have to linger there forever. One of the things one of my clients said is she feels like aliveness is when you're steeping, like tea. You know, when you put a tea bag in the water and over time it expands, right? That's aliveness, allowing things to come up. And here's the thing about aliveness. Aliveness is a full range of experiences. It's the rainbows and unicorns and pixie dust stuff, but it's also the hard stuff and everything in between. And so it's not judging those things. It's allowing it to all be part of our experience, to consider that there is an and instead of an or. Yeah? Are you with me? Who's with me? Who is with me? I want to know what sticks out to you about that. What resonates? What doesn't resonate? Because that's okay too. What doesn't resonate? And unapologeticness fits into aliveness, because too often when we're allowing guilt and resistance and shame and all those things to keep our true self quiet, then we're not fully in the moment. We're not allowing ourselves. Harrietta says, got it. Okay. So this idea of being unapologetic. So I mentioned to you these flowers before I showed you. Aren't these, like, they're so delightful. So these flowers, these 3 daisies are from a potted plant, but the rest are, which is great outside, but the rest are from this wildflower garden that we planted right outside my fence in our yard. And this morning, I was going through my daily practices, and I'll be honest, my daily practices shifted from what I had originally written down in kind of my planner. I was supposed to work out this morning. I was supposed to do all these things, and a few things happened to me. I woke up at 4:40 because my husband was breathing out of his mouth into his CPAP machine. It's a whole story for another day. You don't need to hear about that. But I woke up and I was at first a little bit annoyed about waking up, but then I happened to look out the window because I can see outside the window from my bed, and the moon was just above the tree line. So it was literally the exact right moment to see the moon. And it was full this morning, or it is, today is a full moon. And so I remember just kind of like, oh, and I had a dream kind of prior up to that. And so it gave me a moment to be with the moon and to kind of think, just remember my dream, because I've been doing some dream work recently. I think I mentioned to you guys, I'm having so much fun playing with dreams. So I kind of just sat there and I paused and I let it all like linger. And then I went back to sleep, and I woke up about an hour later and I was thinking I'm going to come down and do my meditation, do my things. But instead I said, actually, I really want to write my dreams down. So I did that, and I let myself kind of move with aliveness rather than force, right? So I had things that I had wanted to do, but being unapologetic for me, for my truest self this morning, meant slowing down just a little bit. So I did my journaling, I sat for just a short meditation, and then I pulled a card. Same cards that I offered to you all, the ones from Sarah Seidelman, How Good Are You Willing to Let It Get? And I got the card. It says, I can't see it, something about the flowers. Let me see what it says. As I fall. Flowers are medicine, okay? And I'm sharing this with you so that you just kind of see like how getting unapologetic sometimes is big things, but sometimes it's really little things. And if I can impress anything upon you, it's this idea that it's not the big things that create the long-term change. It's these little moments of tending and stepping into your unapologetic truth. And so I got this card and I was like, you know what? I leave tomorrow afternoon for a week. I kind of feel guilty about going out to cut wildflowers from our garden where they're just starting to come up, but I really want to enjoy some wildflowers at my desk for the next day and a half. I have a bunch of work to do. It would feel really fabulous to have these flowers. But I felt guilty because, you know, they've only just started growing. Was it really time to cut them yet? Isn't it kind of selfish, right? My brain did all the things. And then I thought, unapologetic Elena goes and finds a few flowers and cuts them and puts them on her desk. And so I did. And so I now have for a day and a half that I'm here, and then I will give them to my daughter and she can enjoy them in her room until they wilt, which they will, right? They will wilt. That is part of their aliveness. And that is okay. We don't judge the flowers for wilting. We judge ourselves, right? So I'd love to know, how does that land with you? How does that story, what does it make you think of? What does it make you think of? I want to know. What does it make you think of? Because it's a very small unapologetic, right? You don't necessarily, and how is that connected to my core values? Well, it touches delight. So many things. Flowers always make you happy. Hi, Maria. Right? Me too. Me too. And so I gave myself permission. Karen says we need to choose what gives us joy. I love flowers, both giving and receiving. Yes. Right? And so it's these little moments. Makes me think of allowing myself to take my own downtime so your writing doesn't happen quite so quickly. Wilting doesn't happen quite so quickly. Absolutely. So I would love to comment on that, Sally. But I'm going to come back. Jennifer says, doing something to make you happy and flowers are joyful. Absolutely, right? So Sally, to this point of doing something for yourself so that your wilting doesn't happen quite so quickly, right? We know that wilting is normal, to use our flower speak. We know that it's normal. And, right, if we think about tending to ourselves unapologetically, to our aliveness, on a regular basis, we are like filling up, right? Over and over again, so that if you think about like a phone, right, that loses battery power, stays more full than going all the way to empty and then having to work back, right? It's much easier to go from half full or 3/4 full or even a quarter full than from empty. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes. Kristen says, not allowing guilt to guide your decisions. You are all my people. Thank you for validating the fact that I cut flowers from my garden. Shh, don't tell my husband. No, he'll be fine with it, right? That's the other thing, is we make up stories about what other people are gonna think. Most of the time, they don't care. Now, sometimes they do, but most of the time, they don't. All right, so if you have your workbook, I'd like you to get it out. If not, grab a piece of paper because I would love to know for you, right? If you think about this idea of thriving with your aliveness, thriving by being rooted, thriving by being curious, or maybe you define thriving in another way. But what I would love for you to know is to consider, and I'm bringing up, I just want to see how I ask the question because sometimes I forget. What are 1 or 2 examples of how or where you've been thriving? Write it down, because we are so good at noticing all the places we're not thriving, right? So good. So let's just get clear on what are 1 or 2 examples of where you have been thriving. Write it down. And then I'd love for you to put it into the comments too. I'm gonna make you do all the work. Write it down for yourself and then into the comments. I'm gonna give you a moment. Be silent. So 1 or 2 examples of where or how you've been thriving. And then for each of those examples, consider, how do you feel? What do you feel when you're thriving? So Harrietta is doing yoga daily, a short 10-minute yoga, and starting a course. Okay. Kim says when you are exercising and focused on your nutrition, or that you are thriving with your exercise and your nutrition. Huge hearts, huge hearts. So in these places where you are thriving, in these examples, how or what do you feel? Right? You feel strong and grounded. Okay. Right? Strong and grounded. Love it. Right? And the reason that I really, really want to bring your attention to how it feels is I'm going to offer you that feeling, and especially, sensation. We live through our senses, and the moments that we remember in life often are remembered through our senses, not the specifics of something. And so what if you used feeling and sensations as metrics of success for your aliveness, for being unapologetic, rather than a destination or an outcome, a finished product? Yeah, makes sense. Harrietta says, makes me feel like I'm taking care of myself. And so Harrietta, because you know this is about to come, what does that feel like? When you feel like you are taking care of yourself, where might you feel that in your body? And Kim, I'm going to do that to you too. Where do you feel strong in your body? You can still love me, even though I'm going to make you work for it, right? Where? Get really specific as you can, right? Because I know you can. So we think about, where are we thriving? We start there. And what does it feel like? Okay. So from there, we're going to get a little dreamy. We're going to get a little dreamy. How does that sound? Who is in for getting a little dreamy in your heart, mostly? Thank you for letting me push you, Harrietta, in your heart. Yes. Okay. Right? And you can even play with this. So for everybody that's like, wait, Elena, what? Why? When we can, our body knows things long before our mind does, long before. And so when we can connect something into our body that helps us be present, it helps us be rooted, it helps us come back to knowing how something feels in the future. Your mind and your core. Okay, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for letting me nudge you on that, Kim. Okay, so who is all in for getting dreamy? Who's ready? Are you ready to get dreamy? Are you ready to get dreamy? Because I can't get dreamy for you. But we're gonna get dreamy. So tell me, are you ready to get dreamy? Harrietta says, sometimes I think most of my feelings are coming from my heart. Yeah, so it's interesting, right? We identify a lot of stuff in our heart, and we forget that our entire body actually is a navigational system. It has information. So it takes practice to start allowing sensations and feelings to exist in other places. They do, but we are quick to notice the ones in the heart, the warmth, the beating of our heart, right? And that's okay. It's not a judgment. It's like fluency in a foreign language, right? That we have to get to know how our body talks. Yoga is a great way to start getting to know that language. Kim is ready. Harrietta is ready. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, right? I'm glad. I'm thriving with feeling grateful every day. I'm thriving in shoving guilt to the side. Ooh, Karen, I feel empowered when I choose not to feel guilty. And so Karen, I will ask you the same question. Is there a place in your body, and is there a way that your body feels when you feel empowered? And for some of you, you might not have ever spent time connecting a feeling to a sensation in your body, right? We tend to think a lot of thoughts. One of my coaches that I've worked with in the past would ask me a kind of feeling or sensation question. And I would start with, well, I think I feel it, or I think I feel. And she was like, right, if you're thinking about feeling, you're not feeling. We're in our brain, right? Which we spend a lot of time in. So it is a retraining that we get to do to really, really anchor things in sensations as opposed to concepts or thoughts. But it just takes practice, and it's a good place to start wherever you are. You cannot get it wrong, all right? So let's get dreamy. If you have your workbook, we're on the page that says My Thriving Wishes. If you don't have a workbook, grab a piece of paper. Kristen says, Harriet and Kim nailed it. Thanks, because I have a hard time identifying my thriving, but this is exactly where I'm at and how it feels. I feel accomplished and healthier and ready to get dreamy. I love it, Kristen. You put it all in there. Well done. And so same thing, right? Where do you feel accomplished and healthier? Allow that can be a place of exploration to notice, where does that accomplishment live inside you? Okay. The other benefit to anchoring feelings in your body is, remember when we talked about being rooted in belonging? It connects you back to your belonging. Not sure about the body connection. That, Karen, you're in the right place. I will work on that and try to retrain, right? So these are places of exploration, should you choose to. It is the way that I offer a lot of practices of inviting us to get back into our body, right? It's a thing that I think, there you go, that I know a lot of us skip because we're so used to thinking and doing and moving forward that we forget that there's actually this whole information system inside us. All right, so let's get dreamy. So I'm going to give you a few moments to do this brainstorm, but here's what I'm going to invite. I'm going to set this up, okay? If you want to close your eyes, give yourself permission to close your eyes. You don't have to. But I want you to consider that you have a book in front of you, all right? And half of this book, or a section of this book, could be half, it could be a quarter, it could be a third, doesn't actually matter, is already written. It's the first few chapters of who you've been. They're already written. We're not going to judge them. We're not going to label them as good or bad. They're already written. But But as you stand here or sit here, and if your eyes are closed, you can kind of see this in your mind or feel into it. Imagine that this book is closed and it's in front of you. You know that there's a part that's already written. But beyond that already written part, it's blank. And that you're going to, from that place of being rooted, being curious, having everything to gain, and allowing yourself to feel alive, you're going to open this book. And when the book opens, it's going to be to the next blank page. This blank page is yours to get dreamy with, to get dreamy on. As your unapologetic self that knows that this is where it all begins. That your next chapter can start with one small wish, unapologetic wish after another. Feel that. Feel your heartbeat. Notice your breath. Notice how your legs feel, your hips. And in your body, come to bring your awareness to your belly. The low belly, the mid belly, the upper belly. Maybe even put your hands there. Say hello to the inner fire that lives inside you. Invite it to guide you now. As you create space to get dreamy. And consider, if you were being unapologetic, and if you were unapologetic about being unapologetic, and giving your truest self space to truly come alive and be inhabited, what are some of the wishes that your inner fire craves for this summer or for the next 90 days, the next 3 months, which is pretty much the summer? Allow yourself to just sit with that for a moment. Notice what bubbles up. What does your truest self wish for? Be with that for a moment. Notice how it feels. And then maybe just open your arms, lift the gaze. Your eyes can stay closed, but just lift your head. Feel that energy come up from your feet into your hips, into that low belly. Feel that potential that's there and let it rise up into your heart, into your throat, out into your arms, up into the crown of your head. Find an inhale, fill up, and let it go. You can release your hands down. I'm going to invite you to take a few moments here to write down the wishes that came up. What do you wish for? What does your unapologetic truth wish for? Your unapologetic self. What do they wish? And big wishes, little wishes, all wishes are welcome. There's no judgment of our wishes. So take a few moments to write your wishes down. another moment or so, you can always come back to this. This is just the beginning. And notice if there's a wish that maybe takes your breath away a little bit, makes you get a little breathless, and makes you think, ooh, maybe it's been something that has felt like it's been in limbo, or that you haven't given yourself permission to think about or to want, or you felt guilty about. Put a little star next to it, or a little heart, or whatever little symbol or doodle feels good and delightful to you. And I'd love for you, if it feels okay, to share that wish in the comments in whatever way it feels right to you. But I'd love to know, what do you wish for? What is that one? And you might have others, right? But we're just going to play with one for a moment. I kind of can't wait to see what you wrote. What wishes, or what wish in particular, bubbled up for you? And as you're doing that, I would invite you to consider your wish might seem like it has an end point, a finish line, right? It might, so years ago, I created a goal to run a marathon. It's a pretty concrete goal, right? Run the 26.2 miles. And I did it because a doctor once upon a time told me I couldn't, right? And so I ran it. I then ran 4 more, but it wasn't until the last one, the 5th, that I actually realized that running the marathon wasn't really about the finish line. I had made it for all those years, all about the finish line. But there was so much more to that process. There was training. There was the actual event and seeing all the people. And if I was only basing my success based on the time that my watch said when I crossed the finish line, I was missing out on like 90% of the experience, right? So there's an opportunity to remember that your wish has a sense, it has a feeling, it has a purpose. There is a why around your wish. And we're gonna get to that in just a second. Harrietta says, my seemingly impossible wish, ooh, I love that you said it that way, would be to live in another country, maybe Greece, on an island. Okay, so those seemingly impossible wishes have a name, Harrietta. So when I went through my coach training with Martha Beck, she used to call these our WIGs, our wildly improbable goals, right? And I actually had my door in my old house. I had my WIGs written on a door with different colored Post-its, right? I now think of them as my audacious goals. Doesn't matter what you call them. But those are the best ones, the ones that seem somewhat improbable, because moving in that direction, now, they don't have to be so improbable that it feels like something, would have to shift so massively like that. But there is a feeling attached to that. So Harrietta, if I can use that as an example, what would it feel like to move to Greece on an island? What would that feel like, right? Emotion, sensation. My sense is that for you, it would feel like home, for belonging. Tell me where I'm wrong, right? And so that's the feeling that we get to play with, to cultivate, to get unapologetic about tending to and nurturing and nourishing. That's what we move in the direction of that wildly improbable or of that wildly audacious goal. Yeah, I love that example. And this goes to the fact that you do not need to wait. These are not things that we put off. Wanting that, moving to another country. For me, it's living on the water. I love where I live, but I still have a dream of living on the water or having a property on the water. And I'm very specific. There needs to be a dock. It needs to face east so that I can watch the sunrise in the morning. It needs to be navigable so that I can take my stand-up paddleboard on it. Right? There's a lot attached. I know exactly what it looks like, but it's about a feeling. It's a feeling of freedom and of exploration. It's a feeling of belonging. And I can tap into that feeling and nurture that. And so it makes it something that I can access on a regular basis rather than something that I have to put into a box and say, oh yeah, no, now isn't the time. Does that make sense to everybody? So this is where we get to giving yourself permission to practice feeling. Being unapologetic and jumping into your life. Think about what we've been doing. We practice feeling. Our jumps connect us to a feeling. So I'm going to invite you now to consider 2 questions. You have some questions on your worksheet. These are for you to play with. These are going to be part of your homework. You're welcome. These are going to be how you are entered to win in the grand prize of all things, okay? So those questions are there for you to play with. But before you think about those, I want you to consider what would be different in your life if you gave yourself permission, not for your wish to come true, but to be unapologetic about tending to your wish. What would be different if you gave yourself permission to unapologetically tend to your wish in ways big or small? That could be practicing feeling it. That could be researching islands, right? What would be different in your life? Put it in the comments. And there's a lot of people who still haven't shared their wishes. You can also share them with me via email if you'd like. If you're feeling like, I don't want to share them in the group, I get it, you can share it, but there's also something about sharing it in the group because then there's accountability. Maria says, I wish for more happiness and saying yes to more vacations. I have that same wish for a home on the water. Hopefully soon it will be a reality. Ooh, researching, Harrietta says, right? That's tending to it and giving yourself permission to enjoy it rather than being like, oh, this could never happen. From a place of fun. You never know. So I have a funny story about a place on the water. Kim also, we should all right, friends, we're gonna all go in together and buy a place on the water. See, it's now become totally affordable and reasonable. If there's enough of us, right? So years ago, I was stand-up paddleboarding and with my husband locally, and we had gone out and we're paddling. And at some point on the water, I have this realization of, I really, really want to buy a property that's on the water. And actually, I kind of want to use it. Like I want to host retreats there. I want to make it a retreat center. We paddle back the exact same way we came. Lo and behold, on the way back, I see a for sale sign on a dock. It had been there. I just hadn't seen it. I take a picture of the for sale sign. When we get back to land and are in the car, I Google the house, the number, the realtor, and I find out that this house is on a street called Sunshine Court. Now, you all know that, right, the podcast is called Sunrise in Your Pocket, that I kind of like the sun. I went to see this house that year. It was a bit out of my range and we were worried because there was a homeowner's association. I mean, there were reasons not to do it, but it actually just sold this year because I would always check out every few months. I'd be like, is that house still available? Right? But it's the feeling of it. Kim says, I wish to carve out more time for writing. I mean, we can do that. We can do that, right? Okay. So what would be different in your life if you gave yourself permission to get unapologetic about tending to your wish and the feeling of it? What would be different? And then second question, what do you need from yourself, from others, to give yourself permission to be unapologetic about this? Maybe you need accountability. Maybe you need a structure, a schedule, a routine, a checklist. Maybe you need research. Maybe you need an assistant. Maybe you need to delegate something so that you have time, something that you don't really have to be doing. There's lots of things that you could need. What do you need? Okay. So in just a moment, we're going to take a jump. We're going to take a jump. But I want to tell you a few things. I'm going to pick a name for our beloved Thrive Journal. So somebody is going to win this. Kim says, discipline and uninterrupted time. I love it. And oh, by the way, uninterrupted time can be short little chunks, you know, just in case. I know we like to go deep, but sometimes little chunks are good. This is for everybody, right? So somebody's going to win the Thrive Journal. I also want to tell you that Thrive Unleashed applications are open and ready for you. So Thrive Unleashed is a 6-month group that will help you if you want to take this wish and really, really tend to your truest self and inhabit that truest version of you unapologetically, not just this week when we're doing the challenge and not just maybe next week, but for the long term, then this group might be for you. It's not for everybody. There are 4 spots left. You can read all the information. You can schedule a discovery call with me. You can just apply and then we can have a discovery call. That's also available to you. My husband's making his lunch. It's okay. We're not going to be grouchy with him. I'm kind of thinking about it. Maria says, I need the push and more confidence. Ah, yes. So here's what I'm going to do, friends. I'm going to put the link to Thrive Unleashed, the information in the comments. There you go. I'm also going to put in the link. Where did I put to schedule a discovery call? I will put that in the link in a second, or I'll put that in the recap email. But you can apply directly from the link that I just put in there. That is available to you. We start on July 6th. If you are even remotely curious, I just want you to consider that you have everything to gain by having a conversation or applying. If it's a good fit, it's a great fit. If it's not a good fit, we'll talk about it not being a good fit. And maybe there are some other resources that I can send in your direction. This is a community experience. There are so many things that are fabulous about it. It's 6 months of twice a month plus group calls that are an hour long on Fridays at noon. We go through a different theme each month. We start with truth, move into self-love, tending, allowing, expanding, and pleasure. You get 6 one-on-one calls with me. There are 3 retreats. One of them is in person in Virginia in October. It's going to be amazing. There are guest speakers, bonus workshops throughout the entire 6 months. There is so much deliciousness in this program, but it's really more than a program. It's an experience, and it is a coming together. It is a community. So if you love the feel of getting to be with others and are feeling uplifted by this energy that you've all created this week, more and more of that is in store for you in Thrive Unleashed. So that's all I'm going to say about that. This is me inviting you. Don't wait. Do not let this be a thing that you regret not exploring. Okay? How's that? So I'm going to pick the Thrive Journal winner, and then I'm going to announce the grand finale prize, and then we're going to jump. All right? Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Look at that. Almost right on time. All right. Thrive Journal. Harrietta. So, Harrietta, you already have a Thrive Journal. So, you have a choice. You can gift the Thrive Journal to somebody else, and then you and I can find something else for you. Or you can have a second Thrive Journal. So, there you go. So, Harrietta, we will talk about that. So message me if you have the Thrive Journal that you'd like to go to somebody else, or if not, I have another idea for you, okay? So, yay, aw. She's like, aw, we'll talk. I got you. You know what, on this note, I'm gonna, because I can, because I adore you all, guess what? Kristen, you also get a Thrive Journal. Whoa, how's that for fun? And you will gift it, so there you go, 2 are going. Because that feels unapologetic and delicious to me. So Harrietta, you're gonna gift it to somebody, and I'll take care of you. And Kristen, you get a Thrive Journal. So message me your address, please. Yay! All right, grand prize before we jump. You're so welcome, Kristen. Actually, you didn't say thank you, but you're welcome. The grand prize that I am going to pick tomorrow before I get on a plane. I'm gonna come on, do a little Facebook Live video. I think it's gonna be like 2:30-ish. I'm gonna pick. So all you have to do to enter anything that you've done so far counts. So all of the little pieces of paper in here count, and finish answering the questions on this worksheet. You can retype them, put them in. You can take a picture and put that into the daily thread from today. You can send me an email. You are so welcome. I love giving prizes. Me too. So that is the, oh, I didn't tell you what the prize was. The prize is a 90-minute one-on-one session with me in July. And this is kind of like a kickstart session, meaning that we're gonna take whatever, maybe it's your wish, maybe it's an inhibition, maybe it's something, and really, really carve out, or create rather, a roadmap for you, more than just a roadmap, because we've started to do that today. This idea of, okay, how? What are you gonna do? How do you set yourself up for success? So 90 minutes with me. There will be some breath work. There might even be some little yoga. 90 minutes flies by. So 90 minutes, you and me. I don't offer these a whole lot. I like maybe once a year. And usually just for examples like this. So 90 minutes, you and me. All right? That's what's up for grabs as a giveaway. And maybe some other special treats that I throw in. All right, who's ready to jump? Who is ready to jump? You ready? So you're gonna jump with your wish. How's that? So reread the one wish that you are really, really wanting to play with. And before I stand up, I wanna see who is in for this jump of all jumps. Who's in? Put it in the comments. Who's in? I'm not standing until I see who's in. Who's ready? It's called peer pressure. No. And remember, you can jump from your chair. Legs up, arms up. Harrietta's ready. She's in. Karen is in. There are at least 3 more of you. Kristen is in. Okay. I think we have a quorum. All right, Kim, I know you're in. And Maria, I'm pretty sure you're in. Maria, there she is. Jump high. Ooh, all right. Maria's raising the stakes. Okay, so you are going to take a moment to pause, and before you jump, I'm going to challenge you. Your wish, I want you to say it in your brain, maybe even out loud, in the affirmative, meaning it has already happened. So, for instance, Harrietta, your wish becomes, I am living on an island in Greece. Okay? Everybody get it? To the affirmative, it has already or is happening. I want you to let that live inside you, and that's what we are jumping to. Ooh. On the count of, I want to make sure I didn't pause. Okay. On the count of 3. Everybody, I'm gonna crouch down low. And maybe I won't hit all the things. I probably will. Ready? 1, 2, 3. How did that feel? How'd it feel? I just caught like the side view of me jumping on my computer's delayed. How did that feel? And then I want to let you go. Thank you all for staying a little bit longer today. I am so grateful to have gotten to play with you over these last 4 days. You have some things. Work on these questions. Post them. Really in a mood to jump so many times. Keep jumping, Harrietta. Go jump more. Right? Answer those questions. Post them in an email, in the comments. In just a little bit, I'm going to post the like daily thread that has the little recap. There will be a recap email. If you're curious about Thrive Unleashed, apply, fill out the application, and schedule a discovery call. I will put that link in the recap email as well. This is your opportunity to get unapologetic with me. Ooh, Kristen is living at the beach. All right. I love it. I love it. I will linger. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in. I'm happy to answer them. If not, reach out to me with your questions. This is your chance to truly, truly invite yourself to not just have played with this for 4 days, but to let this become something that you bring forward in the way that makes sense for you. Okay? In small dosage. Rooted, curious, full of aliveness steps. Have a fabulous, fabulous day, everybody. I'm so grateful. Thank you for playing, for showing up, for being courageous, for being vulnerable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been an honor and delight to get to hang out and just spend this time with you. You are so, so welcome. Message me whoever you would like your gifted Thrive Journal to go to, Harrietta, their name and address, and I will get that out. And, you know, I got something for you too. You're so, so welcome, Maria. I am so glad. Thank you for being here. All right, friends. Bye for now. And stay tuned tomorrow. Catch the announcement of the grand prize winner. But you got to do the things.